Hello, welcome to another in the series, Why I Write. Welcome to my viewers on YouTube. It is so good to have you here with us this evening as we delve into another deep artistic conversation surrounding writing and publishing and authoring and all of that wonderful stuff. My name is Totlin Oliver, your host. And it is my pleasure to bring you live every Monday these series of conversations where we talk about everything to do with writing and creative uptake and everything to do with you reaching within and grabbing hold of that creative spirit within you and putting it out. Whether you want to put it out in music, dance, in art, if you want to put it out in written word, in poetry, in a series of essays, we invite you to just explore your greatest creative side. This evening, we're taking a look at writing from another perspective, from the perspective of ensuring that your work has merit. Your work comes out in real time in 3D. Ever wondered what went into writing a book? We've been talking about that for the last 3 years. But ever wondered, how do I go about finding the right publishing vehicle for my book? So that is how our conversation is going to flow tonight. I want to just make sure that all of our Facebook friends know that we are on YouTube. So let's go live here right here on Facebook. So we want to remind you that you need to join us on Facebook Live. You can type in Why I Write with Totlin so that you can watch the show live. When I get a chance, I'm going to definitely pick up the link and drop it here for you. So tonight, my friends, we want to take the opportunity to welcome a husband and wife team that has been a part of our Wire Ride family for quite a while now, and sometime up front and other times behind the scenes because we've spoken with authors that they have managed to publish their work. So tonight it gives me great pleasure to welcome to our Wire Ride stage Angela and Homer Slack. Welcome, Angela and Homer. How are you doing today?
Good evening, Totland. Thank you so much for having us. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you. You know, we love hanging with you.
Listen, it's my pleasure to welcome lovebirds onto our program. I know your birthday is in February, Angela, as and it's the first time both of you are here with us together. How you all doing? How you all doing
Yes, I
otherwise?
didn't realize that. That's the first we're on together.
We're good, you know. We're good, really good. The
Yeah.
usual challenges, but I mean, beyond that, it's really great.
Yeah, we're really giving God thanks for His grace, keeping us fresh and still
Yes.
sharp, which we're thankful for that we're
We're
still able
loving life.
to do what we love. Yeah.
That is amazing. I remember I had the pleasure of launching with you your book, Angela. So beautifully done, your book of poetry. And of course, you've also been on again when we had a Christmas special. Somebody just dropped a note on that video saying, "Oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I managed to catch this book." The one that you did with 𝐘𝐸𝐬𝐧𝐠. Yes,
Yes, I remember it so well that Christmas.
folks are
Yes.
just eating it up. The reason, ladies and gentlemen, I invited Angela and Homer tonight is because the quality of their work is second to none. If you've ever gotten any copy of books that they have produced for other writers, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. And they both bring very unique skills to this work and art of publishing. But let me start with a love story first. How did you both, Angela and Homer, meet first in life?
Oh boy.
Well,
Love story, give me.
we, I used to go to Calabar with my friends. Of course, we used to go over to Queens, which is quite nearby. So I was at Calabar, she was at Queens. And
Oh,
um, and one day my friend happened to get his mother's car to borrow. So we thought we're gonna impress the girls. And then my
yes.
best friend, his girlfriend was was from Queens, and she was her best friend as well. So we're going to meet my friend's girlfriend at Queens, and then of course when we came up and wind the glass down, because we were the young men in the car, and the girls are excited, and then we found Angie's friend, and we were going to give her a ride home, but then we can't leave Angie because she's with Angie. So Angie has to get into the car as well. And of course, when Angie got into the car, she got into the car right next to me. She likes to tell the story, so I'll let her say the rest.
Well, before I was invited in. His friend is chatting up my friend, and so I'm just standing off, watching it all happen, wondering how it's going to play out. And then when it's clear that they're offering both of us a ride now, he winds down slowly the back window. The Fresh Prince Bel Air glasses at the time, those shades. He had that on and the beret, just like how Fresh Prince used to do it. And so he cocks the glasses like this, all suave and everything, and goes, "Hi, my name is Slack. That's my name, but not my nature."
Lyrics and
I wanted
arguments.
to die on the spot with laughter. So of course, I just remain very serious faced, and I'm like, I'm not giving him the time of the day. So when it was clear that they were both offering us to lift, I got in and he sat beside me. And I'm just kind of get over this line, and I'm thinking, who is this boy? He's just so confident and whatever. And I'm thinking, I've never met anything like this in my life. So from there on, that was first impressions that he's not ordinary.
You had just to shoot your shot, right, Homer? You had to shoot your shot.
Yes, I had to get it in right there.
Oh my goodness.
That line lasted. Because even
How
I
did
use
you
it
feel?
now.
How did you feel after you walked away, Homer?
Well,
After you give her that lyrics, how did you feel, Homer? Did you think that you won, or you're won up? Boy, I wonder if she really like me some.
Well, I tell you, sometimes you just can't tell at first. And how it panned out eventually was that we became very good friends first.
yes.
So we were like brothers and sisters for many years.
Right.
And people actually thought we were siblings because I'm the last child in my family. He's an only child in his. And the age gap between my siblings and myself is wide. So ostensibly, we were like each other's siblings. And people actually thought we were siblings. Everywhere you see him, you see me. I was like a little sidekick puppy bear.
Like your
Going
trip.
everywhere.
But then she eventually went to the United States on a special
Scholarship.
a scholarship.
Yes.
Because when I met her, she was about 12 years old, and I was about 16, 17.
Yeah. So you can imagine that's why I was that was way over my head. I'm like,
The older guy, the older high school guy,
yes.
interested you. Ooh, I
yes,
see.
but she was really a mature child anyway. So it was just brothers and sisters for years. And then when she came back from that
Because we went to the same church and the same youth fellowship.
eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Eventually, not at first. So she came back from the scholarship. And when she came back and I saw her for the first time for a long time, I thought, my little sister's grown up.
That's so weird, no.
I mean, I suddenly I started seeing her in a totally different light because she was now a mature young lady, you know what I mean?
Yes,
And
yes. Yes, you turn big young lady,
yes,
accessible kind of thing. So so what happened after you came back to the United States on that scholarship? You said, Angela, that's round about the time that I would have met you because it was a USCIS scholarship.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right?
So I came back after the end of the scholarship at the end of the summer, and I just had this inkling to visit our old youth fellowship because we were seniors and we had left and moved on, and there was no one new executive and everything. But I just had this sense, let me see what they're up to. And the very same evening, he had the same thoughts. So we both walk into this youth center at the same time at Boulevard Baptist Church.
Yes,
And both of us stood at opposite doors going, like, what, what are you doing here? We're so happy to see each other. And I remember the president who was leading at the time said, "Oh, look who's here, the former president and secretary, say hello, blah, blah." And it's like, we're just about to pair up to pray so you guys can pair up.
Yes.
So I just think that was a setup
I
because
know. That's a
we
divine
ended up
setup.
talking, we didn't pray one word, okay? We were at the back, huddled together, just catching up. Because, we were best friends who hadn't seen each other for, not because we didn't want to, but because I was away and stuff. So we were just whispering and catching up with each other. So, strange enough now, talk about Homer just being forthright and not beating around the bush. I tell you, these geeks. He just comes out and he says to me, "Well, I don't want to say it wrong, but from how I remember it, he said, well, it's like he just quieted down all the giggling and the thing, and he just got very serious. And he says, well, I'm very serious, and if I say something, I mean it, and I'm serious about it, and I would like to ask you to be my girlfriend." And I was like, what?
And if you say yes, you're going to be my wife, right?
Yeah,
because
I'm not going to mess about. So when he puts it like that, I'm like, he is not. I mean, I'm trying to get my head from brother to love interest. And I'm like, no, this is too much in one night. I was so overwhelmed because we never, well, at least for my part, never ever saw him as anything else but my bigger brother, but what do you have to say about that?
Well, I was thinking about it for a little. It wasn't just something that happened. I was thinking about it for a little while, and I settled on the fact that if I wanted to be going around with someone, it would be with her, because she fit all the qualities that I was looking for. And if I'm going to be in a relationship, it's not a trial and error thing. It's not a game.
It's all in.
It's all in. It's everything in. It's serious.
So listen to me now, guys. Everybody who is watching right now you understand what goes into making the right pick of a partner. And especially men, you need to have a set of standards that you want in the woman that you decide to give your life and your commitment to. And I always say a marriage starts long before the wedding. So
long before.
This is the backstory of how Angela and Homer came.
But the funny thing is, Scotland, as you say that, when we finally came to that determination, because in my prayer life, the Lord was telling me about a husband, and I was like, I don't want to get married. I was not one of these girls who was, do you remember about the fluffy white dress and going down the aisle? I just had a phobia for marriage. I was like, no, I'm going to be a missionary. I'm just going to serve God. No way, because I'd had enough of my childhood romances and broken hearts. I was like, I had enough. So I was just secure in my relationship with him as my best friend, and that's all I needed. And so, funny enough, every time I prayed in response to the Holy Spirit prompting me about marriage, I said, God, I don't want a husband, but if this is your will for me and this is what you want, then I took out in my journal, I started making this list. Now, in looking back, we laugh about it, that everything I put on that list, it was, like Homer and so, but kind of, how Homer does. So Homer was the standard, but I wasn't connecting the dots that God was, because God pretty much said, yeah, sure. But I was fashioning a Homer and I didn't connect the dots to see that. So when he presented the situation to me, I was so frightened because of all of that. I'm like, you mean it's a Homer that I'm getting, actual Homer? Yeah. I was like, oh, need a minute. So I did the stupidest thing you'd ever imagine, Tatlin.
What?
I ran straight from there all the way to my best friend's house. I was so overwhelmed by the whole thing. I was like, hold that thought. But you know, it just shows that God knows what's best for us. And he's my best gift. I say that unreservedly. I don't know what I would be without Homer in my life. To just because he's like the tortoise and I'm the hare. And on the surface, it seems like the oddest couple ever. How could the tortoise and the hare ever get on? But it's the perfect complement because, you know, he steadies me. I nudge him forward. I see
we balance
I go and do the reconnaissance. I'm the big picture person and he's the details person. And so it's just the perfect complement. And I'm farsighted, he's short-sighted.
literally.
So I'm short and tall.
So together we're 20 vision.
But
It
listen,
just makes sense.
just like Homer said, it's the perfect balance. Now, there is a method to my own madness. Why I start the story there? Because here you have now turned out to become business partners as well as, you know, the head of your family. You know, you have a daughter and a son together. How old are your children right now?
Our eldest is 32, Dorian, and Brianna, the younger, she's 28.
Exactly. Big people. You have big people in your lives. You are empty nesters for how long? When did the idea of you both putting your skills together come out? You, Homer, you also were in education because you lectured at UTech. You lectured in IT. Angela, you've been an educator for years, and both of you have done work in the UK. You know, how did it come about that you ended up creating a publishing business together?
Well, I would say, you know, the old adage, necessity is the mother of invention. So as a necessity, both of us worked for the local college, Institute of Further Education in the town where we lived in the UK. And during that whole time of recession, when there was just mass layoffs across the board, and within 6 months of each other, we both were made redundant. So we're like, ooh, what are we going to do? This is like really a weird time. We just bought a house and had all these plans. And so I said, Lord, I really don't know what to do. So Homer we had an advertising agency in Jamaica before we migrated to the UK, to the United Kingdom. And so Homer said, and he never really lost his clients, because as you talk about the quality of our work, people who Homer has done work for, they just stick with him, you know, and they seek him out, they find him wherever he is. We'll be traveling and we just bump into somebody and they're like, oh, can you do this for me? Or I was going to give it to somebody else, but know that I see you. So he was keeping that going, even though sort of like on the side.
Right.
And he says, well, we're going to have to grow that now because, you know, we're out of salary, both of us. And the emergency fund that we put in place, it wouldn't last forever, you know, and the kids are still in school.
That switch. I want you to stick a pin right there, Angela. I want to stick your pin right there, because I want Homer to help us get to know your journey into your being a graphic artist and, you know, teaching in IT and all of that. So just give us a little background to your journey into
how he started.
Right, how you started.
Well, I was always into art from I was at Calabar. I was known from Calabar as a very good artist. I went to Jamaica School of Art. I started, my first job was in a printery, a well-known printery today. And I did the graphic art work there because back then you had to do everything manually.
Oh,
you know,
yes, the cut and paste. You had
cut
to
and paste.
Like table.
Yes, you had to do the mock-up on that white. Oh my goodness.
And you had to have your proper pens and all these types of stuff. And you had to have your typesetter. that does the typing, and then you take it and you glue the text together and all of that type of stuff. So I was in printing in the graphic arts department for many years. In fact, so long I was in printing that I became a consultant. And I've worked at some of the best printers in Jamaica. And over time, I started to get requests from different institutions and so forth. But what happened was that computers were coming in. And I spotted from early that if we didn't get into computer, we're gonna be left behind. So I started immediately to learn computers and to learn to do my art on the computer. So I got better at it. And then I realized I really had a knack for the technical,
aspect of it.
detailed stuff. So I became so good at computers that I also opened a computer shop where I would sell computers and repair computers. So I'd have the computer section and I'd have the graphic art section. Our office used to be in New Kingston. So I really got deeper into the computers and into understanding it. And then I started to learn programming. So I became a programmer as well. I used to build websites and stuff like that. And that's what I used to teach at UTech, website development. I wrote the curriculum for Heart Trust on how to, develop a website and stuff like that. So when I went to the United Kingdom, I studied that at university, specifically programming. And then I started to do a lot of programming and building websites and that side of things. So I combined the graphic design and the computer technology and stuff like that really neatly together. And they worked well. And of course, now it's all computers for graphics. If you're not on computers.
You are what, at least 4,000 miles away from me right now. And we're able to have a real-time conversation.
Yes.
Just because of the computer business, right? So it's good that you saw far ahead and you responded accordingly. Now,
and you have to.
Yes, you have to respond because the story I'm hearing here right now is how we have to respond to change. We have to look at what is in our hands, right, Angela? We have to look at what is in our hands and say, okay, how do we pivot?
Yes, and our story, that's the key word there, 𝐶𝐞𝐚. Our story is really about pivoting because at every turn where life just changed on us, the circumstances changed, we had to say, okay, let's see what we've got in our skills bag and what can we pull out. And so I am glad that we were always the kind of people who took learning seriously. We respected the need for learning. We respect other people's learning. And we saw learning as a lifelong thing. Learning first was never just some formal box that you ticked. It was lifelong. So we were always upskilling along the way and always curious. And always attentive to what the changes were on the landscape. And I think that's coming to even how we do business, because now we have AI that's landed in our laps and we are catching up with that, and we're upskilling with that and becoming more, as au fait as we can with that technology as well, because we have to be able to use those skills in our business to make it competitive with what is out there.
And you asked earlier about how we started. So when we came to the UK, I ended up more in the lecturing part of my skills than the actual graphic designing. Although I was doing a little of that as well, but I had to build a clientele in the UK. So while that was happening, I had to have a 9-to-5 job. But eventually 2008 came when we had this massive worldwide recession. And so we got pushed out of our jobs. and we thought, well, we have this. We were always doing a little of it on the side. So what
Right.
happened? We decided, I said, listen, Angie, you go first. So she stepped in fully first. And, it was able to carry her and carry her. So I was still working. And then eventually I went part-time with her. So she was full-time, I was part-time. But then to put the pot on and to pay the bills at the end of the month, I still had a job. And then
Right.
eventually it got to the point where we realized it could support us both.
Yes.
So now we're both
Two are
full-time in
better
it.
than one. That's what the scripture says.
Yes. And
Two are
our
better than
friends
one.
really encouraged us, because I was so tentative, you wouldn't believe, totally, and I dragged my feet.
You are
And
very
literally,
timid. You are
Telling
very
her
timid.
we can do this, we can do
yeah,
this.
but I did my job voluntary for years in that I edited so many things for people and I was just giving myself
Yes.
away. And
Yes.
a couple of friends, and another friend of mine who is a publisher, if she's on here, she'll know who she is. I heard that catchphrase, she says, monetize it.
Monetize it.
Stop giving away your value, monetize it. And that
Yes.
stuck. And I thought, oh, I'm sitting on money here. I am, so I had to give myself the respect that I deserve and take my own self seriously and say, well, no, I'm not just going to do this for free for everybody. It's my night's sleep, it's my hours, it's my
Exactly.
eyes, my eyesight,
And then we realized we really did both have the specialism that would just balance the both sides perfectly
Yes.
for publishing,
Yes.
the graphic
It was
designing,
just such a neat fit.
such
Yeah.
a neat fit. And then her with literature and English and stuff like that. And it just meshed.
It just meshed. Now, I'm going to pause right here to give some instructions to our folks tuning in. For you on Facebook, I'm just about ready to end this live. I just wanted to handhold you because I know you are accustomed to watching us live on Facebook, but we're on YouTube live. I want to say hello to Lorna tuning in on Facebook Live. So good that you're with us tonight, Lorna. I know you're always busy traveling. I want to say good night to Adrien Bana. Thank you so much for watching live here on YouTube. So I'm going to invite you, Errol Bean, he's watching. I'm going to invite you, Vivine Pitta. I'm going to invite you, Ava Daly. Ava says, I remember Homer from Calabar. So yeah, you're well in the community. Canute, hi, good to see you. Good evening too. I'm going to invite you all to join us right now on YouTube. We appreciate your presence. Click on the link in the comments and I catch you right over at YouTube right now. So we're going to end this live. Catch the rest of this interview on YouTube. Thank you. All right, here we go. I just make sure that it's all good and done. All right, still inviting folks to watch us live on YouTube. Now, this is definitely a matter of multitasking and using all of the available um, resources to us right now. So that's all we're doing here. That's what we're doing here right now. All right. So that's taken care of. So let's get back to pulling together your select arrow publishing company. If you looked in the comment section of why I write of our YouTube of our live broadcast, you will see I have dropped two links there for you so you can see Homer and Angela's business links right there. Select Arrow is a name of your company. So here you are in 2008, 2009, you are melding together. So you are thinking, but look how it has worked out. You're thinking, Angela, that okay, you're getting this husband, and here you are thinking, Homer, you're getting this wife, your best friend. But God was thinking so long term that
Yeah.
you have complementary skills, and voila,
Yes.
let us do this. And to me, that's what a marriage is. A marriage is a whole business unit by itself. And when people come together and work together, it don't mean that you're not going to have differences or think differently on different ideas. But what is important is that when we know the goal to which we are working towards, we find a way to compromise, to give and take.
Yes.
And as you
Yes.
mentioned, the key word, balance. Balance is very important. So tepidly, you put your toes into the water, Angela, going full time, while Homer is there holding down the fort to make a money flow happen. Who was your first published work? Do you remember? Because
Oh,
you
well,
have an
actually,
online magazine and then you also do some online shows. I mean, you do everything.
well, you know, none of it was planned, we have to say. As I say, it was always a
Well, not
pivot
by you, not
because
planned by you.
certainly not by us, but we always were responsive to what the needs that presented themselves in our life. And people who know us know that that's really who we are as people. If we see a need, we go, oh, we need to do something. So there was a lot of stuff that needed addressing, so we started researching and writing. And then we realized we had a plethora of stuff that was really piling up. So we started publishing first. We just wet our feet and said, well, let's put out our stuff. So we our first bit of publishing was on the Homer and Angel to get, that was our brand. And so we put out a lot of stuff, biblical essays and things like that, our own reflections on theological topics and so forth. And then Homer had the big book in him, and I said, "Go ahead, finish it up." And then I edited it, and his first one was "The End Is Here," and the response for that was really good. So we did a second edition, and then a friend of ours who was in our circle at the time in the UK.
We're doing magazines. You're not.
Oh, right. Homer he's a really early bird and early to bed, I was the night owl, but I am like Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm in recovery from that, retraining myself to
Right,
go to
right.
bed early. So, but back in those days, we were like two ships in the night. So I was up late, he would be in bed early, and then we'd switch around. So I would get up in the mornings and he would have done volumes. I'm wondering, what is he writing? And so he said, ta-da, we're going to do a magazine. I said, are we? He says, yes, and you're the editor. I'm like, okay. So I don't know. We just did the magazine.
It was a very good magazine.
Well, she's
And
been
you know
Share
what we're
magazine.
like with quality. So the
Yes.
quality was really good.
So we did 10 years.
And what
Share.
happened? We came up with a system. We had ideas that we just jotted down and maybe 300, 400 words. If it was below 400 words, we would put it in a devotional. But then we have some that were nearly 1,000 words. So if it was like, above 400 to 1,000 words,
It was an article.
we made it into an article. And then anything beyond that, we know is going towards a book. So
or a course, as the case may be.
Right, I forgot a course. Or a course. So we had devotionals, articles, course, books. So nothing was wasted.
So we never waste anything. And even with my writers now, I train them. I says, don't waste anything. You put it aside. You'll go back and you'll go through and see what you need down there. Just because your ideas, they're alive. Don't lose them.
Okay.
Just put them
it's so
to one
small. What
side.
can I do with it?
No. You leave it there.
If
Come
it's
back to
300
it.
words, it can be a devotion.
Listen, I'm telling you, oh, I love that.
So it made us so productive in ways that we couldn't imagine.
But you're also giving us another idea here about developing a system. You don't need to go outside and open the door and poke your nose out to look for a system.
No.
You just need to use common sense and apply system and apply, my son uses this word, consistency, especially.
Oh, that's the key word. And he's right. Because you see, Totland, what we don't pay attention to enough is the fact that just the fact that you are alive, it means you're gaining experience.
Yes.
Your experience, that's something. You know enough about something. And especially, you know, we're Jamaicans here. So to the non-Jamaican audience, they probably won't understand as much, but to Jamaicans, you realize, well, Jamaicans are very opinionated on any topic. And why so? Because we live life really fully. So there's something about which you can speak with some authority. If you just become reflective in your life, as my last book was about, you know, make the days count, you know, if you are reflective enough and you are learning your life lessons, then just be disciplined and consistent to write, just record it. Just write it down. Just even your early morning musings, write them down, you know. Journaling is so powerful because you look back and you realize, I've come a long way since those scribblings. Oh, look how I've grown. Oh, I don't think like that anymore. So you can even track your own growth and development. Then at the end of that process, the end of that year, from that journal, you go through it, you can glean what was the lessons, and you have something substantial to put together and make it a work that someone else can benefit from.
There is something inside you. It might be just a daily devotion. It might be an article for a magazine. It might be a course, or it might be a full book, but there's something inside you.
It may be laughs. You're just funny. And you've been giving jokes all your life and entertaining. You're just the laugh of the party. Write them down. Because something that I am sad about, and this is where my legacy is really like just echoing in my mind all the time. When I look at every piece of work, I think for my Caribbean community, what legacy are we leaving behind? There's so much that we're not writing down and recording. And this is something that I salute the British for. They archive everything. I mean, the irony is, if you want the best on even reggae music or Jamaican music, the British will probably, the BBC's catalog will have it. You know this, Scotland. You know, as long as it was sung in the universe, they have a recording of it. And it just makes me think we need to also start recording our stories.
But when you say we need to do these things, Angela and Homer, or as Homer affectionately calls Angela, Angie, the thing is that we were never taught or cultured to become writers and hold on to our stuff. We don't understand the value of what we have within us. Now, there are some of our writers, like the Marlon Jameses, the persons like Andreen Bonner, watching persons like, what's this other young man's name? Can't remember him, but he's been getting a number of awards. But what we find is that now the world is watching and seeing what we can produce. It's not just music, where we had a lot of young people in Jamaica aspiring to become DJs or singer or musicians. Now we can definitely culture or young people and older folk too into the business of having their words written. As a matter of fact, as you both are speaking about having a system, being consistent, not wasting anything. If it's under 400 words, it's a little blurb, you know. If it is between 400 and 1,000, that's a whole article. And if it's more than that, it's likely a book. You all are just joking me hard right now.
Oops.
You're making me feel very, very like, oh my God, they are talking to me.
You got a lot of stuff there.
Listen, and Homer has been on me. Thank you, Homer, for really being behind me and really poking and talking about. We have family stuff dealing with both of our sides. So, but we know that is on the up and up. So working together to help others and for you to monetize your business, to turn your skills and expertise into a real life accountable business. Your work, your graphic work, Homer, in these books that I have seen, in Joan's book, the cover art for Angela's poetry book.
Droplets of water.
Oh my goodness, so beautiful. If you notice, I'm hesitating saying the title because I don't want to mix it up, but it is absolutely amazing. And the book cover. What are the qualifications for a writer to work with you to get their work published?
Well, I'll answer from the editorial side, and then Homer.
Would you like me to answer from a graphical?
Yeah, from the graphic
Oh,
artist
I
side.
love those both aspects, please. Yes.
Okay, you go ahead.
So I'll go first because usually it gets pitched to me, as the editor, stuff comes on my desk. Sometimes it's just an idea, so it's an informal chat. Someone made a referral, and sometimes it's the actual manuscript. But whichever way, our system, because as an educator, I don't think that part of me will ever go. So I always leave a window open for first-time authors. And so I have to say here, back up a bit and say that we are independent publishers, not traditional publishers, and there's a big difference.
What's the difference?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, just to back up to finish answering the question properly.
Right.
If you go to a traditional publisher, the normal way of operating is that you send them a manuscript, and there are standards that each publishing house will have. And those editors will look at your manuscript, and if it's not on par, they'll just bin it. And you may not even get a response, right? So that's the way it was. So, and there was no one in the interim who was schooling you or telling you, well, how do I get it to that standard? Who are these people who just write to that standard? And if they're not polite enough to even respond and say, well, you missed the mark here, there, and there,
Right.
then you don't even know how to improve that manuscript. And so I had watched this film called The Help. Do you remember that movie, The Help? Oh, it was fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous storytelling. And she had written that manuscript, and I think it was 69. I hope I'm maybe off here, but in the 60s, different publishers she'd been to, and even her family had said to her, oh, just give up. No,
Yes.
It's never going to be published. But she believed in her story, and she tried one more time, and then she was lucky. So I very early, because I'm empathetic in my character, and I said, well, I don't want people out there with genuine stories that need to be told. For a lot of people, these stories are their catharsis. It's their it's a legacy to their family. It's a legacy to the culture that they're from. These books need to come out. So I see myself as a midwife, and these books are like my babies, okay? And so I think it has to be a good fit. You have to find the right midwife to work with the right expectant mom. And so that sort of trust has to be built in the very early stages of the relationship. So professionally, what I do is I say to people, once we've had that chat and I look at the material, we offer free an editorial review. So we say, send us what you have. Let us look and see, what you've got. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but at least readable. And I will go through it, and I will give it a fair review, and I'll tell you professionally, in my honest opinion, what I think of it. But it's always constructive with a view to how it can be improved.
Right.
And with some authors, this needs a rework. And some people, I can tell straight away if they've got any talent for fixing it, and I'll say, okay, I'll coach you and I'll teach you how to get it right.
Right.
And my success story is Joan P. Hamilton, where that is concerned. She is the quickest study. She was like a whippet, and man, I feel embarrassed when I think of how proud I feel of how well she's doing. But it's that connection to see good material and see that the person has the talent and they have their own style, and to come alongside and to augment and support that with skills and to teach them so her second book was better, and I'm expecting the third one to be better. And
Right.
so you can pull back because the baby is out now and
Right.
she's walking, you know, she's growing. So for some people, it's going to be give me the ideas, I'll get it out to you. And which is what education really is, pulling it out. So I'll pull the ideas out. And so for writers like that, it's what we call contract writing, where myself or one of the other editors will help you get the story out, and we will do the technical heavy lifting, but it's your voice and it's your story, you know? So those are the two ways that we come at choosing our writers from the editorial perspective. And if we feel that people are willing to work in that way and they're comfortable and it feels like a fit, then we go for it. If it feels awkward and it's like, no, we're not the best people for you, and we'll recommend you to whoever,
Right.
you know?
Okay, good. Thank you so much for that background. I appreciate it. And Homer, from the technical aspect.
I tell you, people come in all the different shades and colors and types. I mean, people are really something else. You get the whole range. You get those who know exactly what they want.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and they say, well, this is what I want. You
No
do
problem.
that, no
Yeah.
problem. And you go from that to the next extreme, where there's people that just are totally clueless. They have absolutely no idea, you know, and they're harder work because you're gonna have to build something for them now and help it to take shape in their minds
And build trust so that
build
they
trust.
trust you,
So
so that what
people
you're
like
doing is
those,
best for them.
you have to produce several mock-ups, and then you keep narrowing it down and narrowing it down and until you get to exactly what they're happy about. And they need to be happy. If they're going to put out this baby,
Yes. They must be proud of it.
they must be proud of their baby. They must have a really lovely, healthy baby that they want to have. So we go from one extreme right to the next. Some are harder work because even the thing is, those who know exactly what they want, sometimes they know, but they are not communicating it very well.
Yeah.
So I have to now interpret what they have in mind. And sometimes it's not easy because they draw a few stickmen and they expect you should get the full picture.
Not the stick man.
I mean, you're supposed to just see it and know exactly what is in their minds just from them drawing a few stickmen, you know what I mean? So it's not that those who know exactly what they want are
muddled. They're clear, but it's all in their head.
But it's all in their head. So it's not that it's that much easier to work with that person than the other that doesn't know anything about what they really want. And you have to paint the whole picture for them. So
and there's Mr. and Mrs. Fussy Pants.
Yeah, you have the clients that they're easy, they're really lovely to work with. You have the ones that are really fussy. You have the ones that you just cannot, they just cannot be pleased.
Yes.
And then we determine that we're not gonna allow them to walk away, not pleased.
Right.
So we have to find some way of just making it work.
Of making it work. So when you're in this business, you have to decide that you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. With some, what we charge, because you have to give an idea of the charge upfront so people know what they're in for.
Yes.
But then you get into the job and you realize that what you're going to charge this person for the job will not be able to pay for it. The amount of hours you have to put in, the amount of work you have to do.
Yes.
So you just have to say, you know something, this one is a loser, but we're just going to go to the end with it.
Yeah. And that's something that we decided very, very early. And it was not a hard decision. It was like we had to deliberate because that's been how we lived our lives as believers. You know, we just believe that whatever our hands find to do, the scripture says, do it with all your might. And so we just believe in taking excellence to everything we do.
Yes.
And so if win, lose, or draw, once we we have committed
It's going to be
to
excellent.
something, we have to see it through to the end.
Even if we're going to lose,
And
it must be excellent.
And I think I can hold my hand up. You're good with the details, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I think I can only remember one client in our entire tenure of Select Arrow that I could say, boy, we could have done without taking that job. But then I can't even say that fully because for us it was more about the journey of the writer and what they had to experience and the benefit they had. So we just puckered up and suffered through, gave them a quality product, even though it was hard for us going through it. But we saw the benefits that they derived. So you just have to see yourself as offering a service.
And what you realize, you see, it's so multifaceted. What you realize when you get in is that, for example, what she does, you go in to produce a book, but then you realize as you mentally write, you're having a therapy thing going on as well.
All the time.
Yeah.
Because
all
this person is writing about their life.
Every time we deal with memoirs, when we write in the memoir genre, it's always all this that's coming up.
It's coming up, and so you have to now become a counselor.
It is
give them the time because it's emotional for them, and it's important for me for those memories to come up raw because I have to get that rawness onto the page and get the voice on the page accurate. You see? So you literally, you have to bond with the writer. This is what I'm saying. It's not just, come, give me a book, I'll produce it for you, and it's money in my pocket. No,
and it's gone.
I have to have that connection. And I know when a book is mine to do because I get the download immediately. As I'm talking to the person, and this is where, you know, the creative, how God works is amazing. I just start seeing and I'm hearing and everything starts just forming in my head. By the time I come off that call, I'm very clear where I'm going. I see the end product and I start sketching, making my notes. And by the end of that call, I know that this is our project. And I can tell Homer just how I'm directing it, what I want the visuals to look like, everything.
Yes. I like that. You know, that's why I guess Andreen says best friends who pray together catch a fire.
I like that.
Oh,
Earl she's not wrong.
Earl
but that's another story for another time.
I know. I listen, as you're both talking, I'm thinking, okay, you both need to come on one at a time to at least another 4 times. So I'm just putting that out right now. Errol Bean says, my beautiful foundation friends, great to see you both, Homer and Angela.
Oh, Mr. Bean.
Joan Hamilton, who you just spoke of and who I had the pleasure of having on Why I Write as a guest, says, Homer and Angela have taken me effectively through the writing and publishing journey. I want to say a big thank you to them.
Oh, bless you, John.
That is wonderful.
Thank you, John.
She says I've relied on them for every aspect of my writing journey. They are easy to work with, knowledgeable, and humble. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank God for her.
Yeah. So we have seen the end products. We have seen the end products since the last time we spoke about your poetry book. You, Angela, you have put out a new book. We need to talk about that too. We need to talk even more about the courses that you have online. Tell us a little bit more about the courses you now have online. Those that are we can
that is Homer emptying his brain.
Along with our jobs as publishers, we also have a Bible school online. Now, this is a Bible school where you can come on and you can do a course wherever you are in the world. It's all online. So you go on there, you choose your course. They fall into different categories and faculties. So we have the different faculties. You can look through the different faculties, and of course, this came out of the fact that we realized that some of the things we were putting on paper was a bit longer than just a devotion.
Mm-hmm.
So we put them together.
And then people kept asking us, can I have a copy? Can I have a copy? And we thought, where can
We
we
might
just
as
put
well
it
just
all
put it where they
and make
can
it accessible?
they can access it.
So we call it Open School of the Bible so that it's open,
And that,
accessible. You can
and
get it.
you can get to it from the website address openschoolofthebible.com.
So we're going to write
Open
this
School
down
of
here.
the
It's Open School
of the Bible.
Bible.com. All right. So we're dropping it in the chat right here. So that is where you can access that link to get more information about this Bible school, which brings me to the next very important question. The manuscripts that you handle, the books that you publish, do they and must they only fall underneath the realm of Christianity and Bible-based?
Well, it's yes and no at the same time, because all our writers may not be born again Christians, but we wouldn't publish anything that directly offends our faith. And so we have a statement of faith and we have a disclaimer, because a writer may express things that we may not personally have experienced or we may not espouse. But if it goes against our conscience as believers, then we can't stand behind it. And I just think it's everyone needs to be authentic and true to themselves. You can't stand behind something that you can't stand behind.
That's
and
right.
so that's just how we have gone to business. We have a certain set of beliefs and values that we live our life on. It's our life. If you take those values from us, then we have no life. And so there's no
the beginning and the
compromising
end
with
of
that.
You have
Yeah, I just don't
highlighted.
know how you compromise that. If you go to, I mean, pull something out the hat, if you find a vegan and they fundamentally believe that they shouldn't eat animal flesh, and why would you go and offer them a plate of pork? It's
Exactly.
just it's stupid. That makes no sense. So it's the same thing, you know. We treat everyone with respect, but we ask people to respect our faith, and so don't ask us to publish something that we can't stand behind. It's
And let me
pointless.
put it to you this way. Let me put it to you this way. Very, very simply. You run a publishing company where you only publish sporting articles. Okay? But I come
Yes.
to you with a book, with a manuscript for recipes and restaurants.
We don't do food. We do
You do
sports.
restaurants and food. You
So
know?
that's all it is. Yeah. And people have the option to shop around, so choose what matches your need. You
Exactly.
know?
And
Exactly.
another important thing to mention is that some people, when they think about Christian publishers, they think all our books are books where you read it with
Like Bible
Bible in
courses.
hand.
Yeah.
You know,
No, we do every genre.
we
Fiction,
we do
nonfiction,
different genres.
children,
So it's not every book
yeah,
is a
memoirs,
Bible study.
novels, whatever,
Yes.
jokes. Christians
Comedy.
laugh too.
Okay. But the most important thing is to reach out to Select Arrow to find out how to make these connections and whether or not you're the right fit for the writer.
Yes.
All
And
right.
we love a challenge. So if you look at our portfolio, there's a bit of everything in there, because I just love to learn, you
That's
know?
right.
Yeah, I love a challenge. More
That's
information, something new.
Another good website, ministry website that people could visit as well to see the magazines we mentioned earlier, which was what really got us into publishing. We started with magazines. Go to the sharemagazine.com.
for magazines. The Share.
The sharemagazine.com. We get a lot of people
THA.
coming on there. We get a lot of people coming on there think we're
Stockbrokers.
We're stock. So it's SHARE, yes. The
But
Share Magazine.
That Share magazine.
THESHARE magazine.com.
See, not that. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Share magazine. You've
So
mentioned. Go ahead.
yeah, it's interesting though. When we did Share Magazine, what year was it? We did an issue entitled Love, Sex, and Marriage, God's Idea First. And I always believe in writing from the ground up, hearing the pulse of what's going on. So we noticed that the youth were saying, well, there's not enough in it for us. So we started a youth page and we called it Youth Share. And so for each magazine, we would do a survey around the world on whatever issue we thought that, young people were really concerned about, because it was quarterly, so it was every quarter. And the response from the survey came back that young people were saying, well, no one's telling us anything about love, sex, and marriage. Certainly not in the context of how do we manage our bodies and how do we behave responsibly about this. Not even in church is anyone teaching us anything. The single people are lost, the married people are confused, and it's just a hot mess. And we thought, oh, we have to do something about this. So we decided to do another survey and ask young people, well, what do you want? This is what we want, a forum to express ourselves. So we pivoted again and to the magazine off the page, and we did Youth Share Live. And so my very good friend from school, Denise Hunt, came in on it with me, and we just, I don't know, young people just started responding and pouring in, and a lot of them are our mentees, and it just, another one of my writers, Jennifer Williams, she was like my left brain, right hand. She was just there to say, we have to do something. We can't let the youth just let them down. So we did 2 seasons.
Just like that, right?
Yeah, we can't just drop them like hot potatoes, because we could see that they really needed this information that was in the magazine. So we just lifted the articles and made the discussions live. So we brought the youth in, brought in subject matter experts. Then out of that, the married people says, well, we want a boot camp. We don't know enough. So we did marriage boot camp with one of our writers, Cheryl Williams, out of Canada. She wrote a book, Biblical Couples Club. So I commissioned her along with her pastor, who is a counseling psychologist, to come together and put together the boot camp course. And we ran that live as well on Youth Share Live.
That was very effective.
Oh, it was really well received. But we just
on marriage, really
couldn't keep doing
really
it all.
needed. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So couldn't you have grandfathered it over to a nucleus, or that takes more management as well?
Well, that's
a problem. That's a problem we're having. We are struggling to find young people to step up. All the young people want to have their own thing. They want to have their own YouTube
because we train them,
channel.
They want them
so
exposure.
We train young people with the hope that they'll think, well, it's all in place already here. Let us just step in and take over. But they prefer to just go and do their own thing. And so we're struggling to find, as we speak, as people are listening and watching, we are recruiting for help in graphic designing, website building, in your area, editing and proofreading,
video editing.
Yeah.
So and as I said, we've always, especially with that cadre of young people, we thought if we pour in the multimedia skills into them, we upskill them, then we would have a succession plan in place. But it didn't work like that. Jesus healed 10 lepers on his one set hands. So we are blessed in that we have had our one who said that.
So the last magazine was done in October 2022. We just couldn't keep it going.
Exactly.
And we were hoping that these youngsters that we trained, that we brought on, that they would be willing to come and take it on and keep it going. But they haven't stepped up yet.
To be fair to them too, we were at a funny age, because most of those young people were at that age where they were all getting married. So most of them are married now, and they're in the first, second year, third year of marriage. They're trying to figure out life out. So I understand that as well. So we would have to start recruiting at the Gen Z and the Alpha, so I'm thinking. And also personally, we're going through a lot of transition personally. So, because we are now having emptiness. And so it's trying to figure out the right season to bring it back. But we certainly haven't forgotten that need is there. We just need to get our skates on and organize ourselves
One
how
day
we're
at a
going to do
time,
it.
because I wanted to ask, what are some of the challenges you're facing? And I'm sure I'm glad that you're sharing these challenges with us right now. I wanted to know some of the positives which you have already shared, you know. How do we find you and come knocking on your door if we have need?
Oh, we're so easy to find. If you're on the World Wide Web, it's
Do we still call it that?
selectarrow.net.
Do we still call it that?
The Tinternet. We're on Tinternet, as the British say.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah, but you can find us at selectarrow, one word, .net.
That's the hub that gets you out to wherever
Everything else we
everything
do
else
is
you
on
do.
our website. All the associated links are there. You can get us on Facebook, Select Arrow on Facebook. Our Facebook page is there. I also write as the editor of Share Magazine, Select Arrow, on Facebook. And if you're on WhatsApp, you can find me as Angel of Slack. And should I give my WhatsApp number? No, not sure about that one. The
I
phone
think
will
that the
never
other
stop
platforms
ringing.
are sufficient. I think the other platforms, we can find Homer and Angela online at selectarrow.net. We can also find Angela and Homer online, Facebook, and any Instagram.
You know, I am not even ashamed to say that I have an Instagram account and I still am learning how to work it. There's one for you, Share Life, and one for myself. And every time I need to do something, I'm calling my PA for help or my
And
son.
guess what?
So
And guess what?
that's on my list of things to do for this
Guess
year to
what?
be more fair with it.
My takeaway from this conversation with you this time around, because we talk all the time offline, is a system. Use a system.
Well, that's in hand. As I said,
Yes,
I'm getting
yes,
someone whose
yes,
job is going to be to handle it.
yes.
Talent, I cannot keep up with social media. It's driving me bonkers.
Listen, you're not the only
I
one.
can't do my job. It's another job in itself.
Self.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's a
I'm
job all by
contracting that
itself.
out.
You
And
see,
I
the
feel
same
no
reason
way.
why, the last question I have for you guys before I let you go is this. How good or bad is AI in this season of publishing and art making and writing and all that good stuff? How good or bad?
My quick answer is, I'll let Homer give the long answer. My quick answer is, AI is just a tool. People don't panic. Like any other tool before, it's just a tool and garbage in, garbage out. It will do
The,
what you ask it to do as well as you ask it.
Just
the
like the
problem,
pages where they make, and you will see, like I said, cupcakes turning into pops. You're right.
one of the problems we're having is that someone will come to us and say, but it's easy. All I need to do is that, and it's done. What happened? They went onto YouTube, they watched a video, and of course, the person making the video wants a lot of hits.
So easy, yeah.
So they make it look so easy. And then people not realizing that, hey, listen, it's not as easy as it looks. And the same thing is happening with AI, that they're seeing all these things on YouTube and they're hearing all these news and stuff, and people are thinking, yes, yes, yes. And we are realizing as we delve into it, because we delve into it hard, we are realizing that it's not what it seems.
Well, the
It's
same
overrated.
the same needs to be said also. The same principle pertains for even publishing, because there's a self-publishing movement where a lot of people self-publish. And I would say there's something for everyone. To me, in my opinion, the self-publisher should be someone who is au fait with the writing process, who is skilled at it, understands what they're doing, and understands communication as a broader subject. And so you can handle and manage yourself well in that field, put out your books. But there are a lot of unskilled people who are putting out self-published works and they're substandard. And Well, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
you're stuck between that extreme and the traditional publisher. And so this is why I believe in the independent publishing movement, which we are a part of. Because when you come to an independent publisher, you're coming into a situation where, for one, you own the rights of your work, which is very important. We believe that we don't own anybody's work. It's your work. You should own your rights. You should have your publishing rights, you know? So we're contracted to do a job. We've produced something for you, alongside you, with you, on your behalf, as the contractual basis may be. But it's your work. You own it, and you have the royalty rewards for it, and you get paid your royalty. And I think that's very important for people to have that ownership. But you're also getting the expertise, the guidance, the security of working with a firm that understands the business and understands a very crucial part of the business, which is what most people, Totlin, leave out. They only think, oh, the book. And so they think book in hand, that's it. But they're not understanding that a book needs to be read. And
Yeah.
if you want it read by other people, there must be an audience prepared for it. And so the marketing of the book is very, very essential. And
Yeah.
the marketing should start before even the writing, because you should be writing with a target audience in mind. Who
Right.
do you envisage wants to hear this? Are you just writing your own sound chamber? You know, and
Right.
so to even back up and say, well, why are you writing, which is the title of your program? Why are you writing? You can write because you just have things to express, and it's self-cathartic, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can write because you want to entertain people. You can write because there's a need for this information in the educational space, in that space, or whatever. And you can write because you're good at it, and you know you can be prolific, and you can make money. You can earn an income from it. And so if you are writing with a business end in mind, then you have to be businesslike about it. And you must have a structured business plan for that book to sell. It takes work to sell your book. Because if nobody knows you, then who are you? And your immediate family may think it's brilliant, but the average person in the bookstore don't know you.
Or not.
And for that reason, the skilled and the professional people will still be around for a long time.
Long time.
We are still needed. AI and computers think in a very linear way. You know, it just goes straight across and just spits out anything. It's not thinking in a wholesome way as human beings think yet. And it's very far from it. You still need someone who can look at all the different angles, can understand you,
yes, and tailor make something, make it bespoke to your needs.
You still need work with feeling. You know, it's not just something on a page. You still need to feel it. And AI and computers can't do that yet.
Yes.
So I think at this point,
So
AI.
this is why they will say you need to keep training, because we use bots like on our website. When you come on, there's a bot, but we're constantly training it to respond to people properly and give them the proper answers. So it's just a tool, and it's going to be as good as you use it.
Indeed.
So you're still going to need a professional. You're still going to need people. We cannot replace people. Not at all.
That is for sure. That is for sure. Look, Angela and Homer, I just want to say congratulations for you staying the course, getting in, jumping in head first, even if a little timidly, Angela. You know, Homer, thank you for starting the fire.
Oh, you did.
You know, there's that song that we didn't start the fire. Well, I'm thankful that you started the fire. And I am glad for the work that you're doing in this space. I'm glad for how you explained to us the difference between the usual publishers and independent publishers. I am thankful that you walk us through some of the challenges that you face as publishers when people come to you with their manuscript or not, because sometimes you have to redo a whole thing. I am glad for the confidence that you speak with to us that, look, we always will need professionals. We always will need professionals to help vet our work and to put the quality of work out in the marketplace the best way we know how. Errol Bean is saying that I need to have a show on the business of AI and, of course, copyright and all of that good stuff.
Yes, yes,
We're gonna get there
definitely.
because, we started Why Right in 2022. And oh, by the way, don't forget, May 1, please vote for me and Why I Right.
Yes, I need the link. I
Yes,
don't
I'm
want
gonna
to
set
forget.
around
I thought about it today again.
yes, so I am happy to share that. But judging from the work that you have already put out, the work I've seen, the authors you've worked with, you know, it's just congratulations from here on in. Despite the hiccups and the hairpin turns we all have to go through in the regularity of life, I just want to thank you again, Angela and Homa, for what you do and for doing it with such openness and genuineness and the desire for all parties to succeed. I am loving this. So I
Well,
thank
we
you.
give God the glory, Totlin. We certainly do. We have to thank him because it's really his big idea.
I
It's
love
his
it.
idea, and I'm glad he's able to finish whatever he starts. We just trust him daily.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Any few last words, Homer?
Um, yes, there's something inside you. Get it out. Put it out there. There's somebody out there that needs what you have.
Yes, your
Don't just
experience wasn't in vain,
don't sit on your talent.
or your
Invest
story.
or your story. Invest it. Get it out there. Help people with it.
And come to the professionals to do a
Yeah,
good job
we,
of
we
it.
can we can help you. It can be done.
Don't let yourself down. Let professionals help you.
I love those wonderful positive words on which we end tonight. Thank you so much again, Angela and Homer Slack, for coming together on our program, Why I Write, as we discuss the business of running a publishing business and what it takes to do so, and how we on the outside, as writers, as authors, can definitely access your services and get your guidance along the way through to the finish line. Thank you so much again. It is my pleasure. My name is Totlin Oliver, and we invite you to continue to subscribe, watch, share on YouTube, share everywhere where you have a social media account, and let people know about the good things we talk about right here on Why I Write. You take care, enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope you also did have a very good Easter weekend. Take care. See you soon. Walk good. Angela and Homa, take care. Walk good. We'll see each
Bless
other.
you, Totlin.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, Tottenham.